How to remove the fender on a Lincoln MKZ, Fusion, and Zephyr. What you first want to do is have a 10mm socket with the ratchet. You'll also need, I believe, an 8 or a 7mm socket and a ratchet also. And you'll need a dual panel tool remover to get this job done. So what you want to do is you can go ahead and open up the hood. And as you're looking at the fender, you'll have some bolts here. One, that's a little screw here. Depending what yours is, mine did not have it, so I just shoved the screw in it just to keep the headlight in place. You'll have a 10mm here, a 10mm here, and you'll have one up here at the top over here. You want to take those off here. Then depending how this is on yours, this is a clip. I would be careful on this. These are fragile, and the clips happen to break off of the cover piece here. But when you take that off, there should be a bolt back behind here. You can see mine don't have a clip where it goes, but there's a bolt right there that you're going to take out of it. That's either an 8mm, I believe, or a 10. Mine did not have, so I just put a random bolt into it to hold it in place. And you'll also need a 10mm wrench. I forgot to say that because there's a tight space that you need to get into. So when you open up the door here, I'll go ahead and show you. So you're kind of standing inside like you're about to get into the vehicle. You'll have a bolt right here that you want to get off with the wrench, because I don't think a socket will fit into it. I had no luck doing it when I had to replace this fender here. So you have to take a wrench to that, and just take your time. It's not like long-winded, but it's got a little ways in there. After you get that off, you want to go ahead and go down like right here, your driver's side mirror, and just go kind of straight down. Follow where the fender meets up with the car. And on the bottom, if you look down here, you'll have some bolts here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it too well or not. One there, and one over here that you want to take off. Be careful with those, because since that's more closer towards the ground and it gets all picked up with dust, salt, and debris, it may be a little bit hard. So be gentle on those, because you don't want to snap the head of them. I've done it before, and all you just have to do is basically find a smaller drill bit and drill out the old stud of the bolt without stripping out the threadings of the car frame here, because it's actually on the frame. It's got like a little square box if you look on the other side behind here, and it's threaded. So all you just do is put the screw in and screw it in there, and it threads right in place. After you've done that, you'll need to move over towards your headlight, your drive side headlight. And this is where the 8 or 7mm socket comes in handy. You'll have a bolt here and a bolt down here you want to take off. Then you'll have a clip here that you want to take off. Dual panel tool remover, like I said. Pop the thing off and this pops off. When you go to pull this out, you want to be gentle, because there is a bumper train clip, sorry about that. And you want to go and pop that off. Like I said, be careful with it not to break it off. And kind of drop the bumper down if you need to. How I've been able to bypass it. You got the 10mm here. You got another clip here. Another clip here. Then you got the 10mm here. You can also do it on this side too. Just take the bolts and clips off of this side also on the passenger side. And how I've done it, pick up from this shroud here and kind of lift it up over the hood latch here. You want to make sure while you're doing that your bumper doesn't get caught onto the headlight, because I know there's where it kind of clips in place over here. It doesn't really line up too well on this side here. But after you get that off there, you'll have a screw right probably about right where my thumb's at. And that's to remove the bracket that holds the bumper in place. And you may have I believe it's a Phillips head screw right here that also holds the retaining bracket piece. You want to take that off. Then you'll have another 10mm after you take the bracket off. You'll have a 10mm that holds the fender in place. And just to show you you got the little bolt here that you don't need to really take that off. But that bolt, I don't know if you'll be able to see it too well or not. I don't know if you can see the little bracket right here, right where my finger's pointing at. That's right where what holds the fender in place. Like I said, you want to take that 10mm bolt off to get the whole fender off. After you've done that, throw away the old fender, whatever happened to it, put your new one on. Or if you, yeah, go ahead and put your new one back in place. You'll make sure it's lined up where the door doesn't catch it. With these, they give you a little kind of extra little wiggle room so you can slide the fender back and forth a little bit if needed. So, like I said, just kind of put it on there, start a couple of them, of the screws, and just kind of open your door slowly and make sure that you got a good clear room where your door is not hitting the fender. When you find out the right gapping that you need of it, I'd have somebody probably hold it, or maybe use something like a flathead screwdriver. Be careful not to chip the paint on it, and use that to kind of hold it in place. And go ahead and tighten down the screws here. Don't forget to put all your screws back in where they belong into it. And after done that, you got your new fender installed. This is the same step with the passenger side. You got your little clip or a screw here. You got your 10mm bolts here. Like I said, you'll have a bolt behind this cover piece here. You'll have the bolt here. And also, I forgot to mention, there will be a little nut kind of down in the middle of the fender that you want to loosen up to pull the fender out of place. I forgot to mention that. I don't know if I'll be able to get the camera into the place, I believe. I don't know if you can see where that little stud is right there. That's where the bolt will be on, so you'll have to move the inner fender back somewhere you can wedge your hand into it and the tool to at least loosen up the nut, because it kind of slides in place onto the frame of the car. So just loosen up that nut there. You'll be able to slide this part off here. Like I said, on this passenger side, you got the same way. You got the 210 down here. You remove the clips and screws over here. Remove the bolt that holds the bracket in place and the screw. And we'll take out the 10mm that holds this fender in place. And that's how you replace the fender on a Lincoln MKZ and Zephyr and Fusion. Hope this video helps. Thanks for watching.